everyone, welcome back to another scrapbook layout. What I am showing you here is the sketch that I had originally planned on using from Page Maps, and to be honest, I'm going to follow some of the aspects from the sketch but not all of them, and I will talk about that as I go along. And I'm sorry, I would know that went a little bit quicker, but instead of using two photos on the sketch, I'm using just one 5x7, and the sketch also calls for an 8.5 by 11 layout, but I am going to make a 12 by 12. I guess I could have made an 8.5 by 11 for you guys and then made it into a 12 by 12, but I was just more into the mode of getting a bunch of layouts done so that I would have a bunch of videos to go up over the next couple weeks, and that was my main goal. So yeah, I'm doing a bunch of voiceovers today, and that way there will be plenty of videos up. That way I can also get going on my daily life albums because I have been slacking yet again. Anyways, to this layout, I am trying to use the layout called for like a plain cardstock with a pattern paper background. And you guys know me, I struggle when it comes to not using my my white background. That is just what is always my go-to, and that's what works best for me. But this one, you can see, not only did I not use any cardstock, this is actually a tone-on-tone pattern paper here that I'm mounting the photo just to give it a little bit of interest. But I'm going to end up using that pattern paper on the very left-hand side of the screen right now. It is kind of more of a tone-on-tone, so it's fairly close to being a white cardstock. It's as close as I'm going to get, probably without using an actual piece of white cardstock, and I wanted to use that pattern paper up. So I thought it would be nice if I used it on this layout. It does kind of throw me off just a hair, but I get through it, and I'm very happy with how this layout turns out. I am just trimming up the photo right now, and I used my perfect layer rulers. I don't know what it is, but today when I was making this layout, I'm going to struggle with my perfect layer rulers, which you will see again in a few minutes, and I don't usually have as much trouble with them as I did, but I'm going to go ahead and use this full pattern paper. I'm not going to get it because I have plenty of the pattern paper. I think with this collection that I actually ended up purchasing a couple extra pattern papers so I would have double of some of my favorite ones. I do that on occasion because I love to buy the collection kits, but I don't know, I'm kind of starting to lean away from the collection kits because I used to think, oh, it's great, you get a few pattern papers, but you also get the sticker sheet, and I don't know, I'm thinking about, excuse me, I'm still getting over my cold, so please bear with me, at least when I'm doing this voiceover. Hopefully by the time this video is up, I will be done. Oh, cross your fingers, knock on wood, right? Anyways, I am thinking a little bit about changing up the way I purchase my scrapbook stuff, but I'm going to talk about that in a different video, and I want to think about it a little bit before I say too much, if that makes sense. So from this Winter Wonderland collection, you guys have seen me do a few layouts with it now, and I haven't inked the edges on any of them. But I kind of just decided this one, I wanted to give it a try. So I'm using gray ink. This is Gray Wool by Close to My Heart. They don't sell it anymore, but any gray ink would work just fine. So here is the first real problem with these perfect layers. So I do have the 12 inches, and they do sell the 12-inch size. And I went along and I cut it out just like it felt like it was perfect, and then I go to look at it, I go to ink the edges, and it was completely off. Like, I thought about leaving it, but it was so off to where you almost couldn't even see the white cardstock at one point. And sometimes I let that bother me, sometimes I don't bother with it, but this time it was like, wow, you really can't see any of the white cards. I don't know what happened. So I'm like, okay, I must have not paid enough attention when I glued it down, or when I cut it, when I held the ruler down. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to use the same ruler, and I'm looking now to make sure it's nice and measured and fitting right. The first one looked okay. I'm going to do this second one, and it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just not, it's like the ruler is lining up perfect. It's almost like the ruler might be off a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've used those rulers before without any problem. Maybe the pattern paper wasn't cut straight enough or something, but either way it wasn't working. So I did just pull out my trimmer. I know it's not straight all the way around, but at least it's not as obvious as it was the first time. So I'm going to go with it. And again, I'm going to ink the edges anyway, so if it's a little bit off in some parts, it makes it even less obvious. So here is what I have so far, and I still am basically sort of following the sketch at this point. They had this large piece of paper with the 2 photos near the top, and then below they had some journaling, I believe, and a string. So that is what I'm going to do now, because they had either ribbon or something tied along the bottom, and that is one of the things I really liked about the layout. So this is just some crochet twine, I want to call it. I've mentioned this before in layouts videos. If you're new, you can get this in Michael's, and it was like for the roll maybe $3, and you can even use a coupon. Okay, maybe it was like for $3.50 or something like that. So, but you can, like I said, you can use a coupon, so it's even cheaper, and it's really pretty. I have both just a plain white, and this one has a little bit of sparkle to it, which you can see in the close-up videos at the end if you want to see that. I did decide to use my Scrappy Tape to glue this down because I put it over the string in the back of this white cardstock to make sure that that string really stayed in place. So then I'm also going to take more of the string and tie a bow, and I believe that I am taking like a double string. So instead of tying a bow with just like 1 loop on each side, it has 2 loops on each side. I hope that makes sense. Again, if you need to see more about what I'm talking about, there is a close-up of this. I'm going to fiddle with this quite a bit, because the only bad thing about this twine is when you are tying a bow of any sort, it wants to, you pull the little straight ones and then the loops kind of go a little smaller, and then you can pull them back again, make it tighter and straighter. When you do that with this kind of twine, it will kind of ravel up on you, and that bugs me so much, so I always have to fix it. And I finally got it sort of nice looking, so I put a glue dot underneath. That is one great way to put your to make your bows stay where you want them. I don't usually glue down a lot of bows, but I've noticed lately that I've just been adding a little bit. And so I got it glued down, and then it did start to curl up on me again, so I am going to add a little bit more adhesive. I think I might do that actually off screen. I had to come back to this video. I had to step away and come back a few times. This is again kind of more, I wanted to stick to the teals, the blues, and the purples to this layout. It's not like I didn't want the pinks, and I do think I add some pink, but if you look in the photo, if you can see really close in the photo, she's wearing a jacket that's like this darker navy blue and then lighter blue letters, I believe, or more of a teal blue letters, and it goes so pretty with this collection that it just worked out. And so that's kind of what I wanted to stick with. So here I am. When I was looking at the sketch, one of the things I really liked about the sketch is that it had like this holly. It was from December 2019, I believe, with the month that the sketch was. I showed that in the very beginning. But it had like this holly, like leaves or something going across the very top of the layout. And first of all, I don't think I glued my photo down far enough to really be able to make anything work up there. And then I started adding snowflakes. That's what I was thinking. Instead of the holly, I would add just a bunch of snowflakes along the top. Now, if I would have used my white cardstock background, I think it would have worked beautifully. But because I have that busy pattern paper background, those snowflakes just are not, they're not looking good to me. The only ones that are really looking good are the ones with the white background, but it seems to be all the same snowflake that has the white background. I tried some of the acetate, I tried some of the more flowery shapes, and I wasn't liking it. I just couldn't do it. So that's the point where I'm coming to the point where I'm going to get a little stuck here, and mostly because I really wanted to do the snowflakes along the top. And not only that, because I wanted to use them up, because like I mentioned in my last video, there's so many of those snowflakes. I'm going to have snowflakes for a while. I'm actually thinking about trying to do a layout with just those snowflakes, so I might try that, but we'll see. I have to think about how I want to make it work for a while. But so now instead of having the snowflakes, I added that purple tree. I thought I would maybe see. I liked there's on that tree that I put down on the right hand side. All those little purple circles on the tree are glitter. So I thought, you know, I'm going to go for it and see what happens. And I really actually liked it there. And then for the title, it's just going to be this winter. And I'm going to glue the string down a little bit. I kind of like how the string goes over it because that string is so subtle. You can't really tell at all, you know, that, I mean, you can tell it's there obviously, but it's just really subtle. The other thing I was trying to use on this layout was that doodle pop, but here's what I'm finding. I think these elements that are coming with these collection packs, even the snowflakes, there's a lot of snowflakes in there that are huge. I would prefer smaller, I don't know, I'm smaller elements, smaller ephemera. I feel like a lot of these pieces are just too large. So I've noticed, if you can see the sticker sheet there, I'm really using up a lot of the stickers because they're smaller and they fit a little bit better on, you know, with the page. So that's another thing I mentioned in my last video, how I'm rethinking buying, you know, maybe I mentioned it in this video, I don't remember which video it was, but I'm rethinking how I'm buying things, and I think what a part of it I'm going to look at is how big the ephemera pieces are. I recently got the new Doodlebug, like their Valentine collection. I can't remember the name of it. It's like Spring Valentine. And then they're also coming out with birthday ones. And I saw from the videos from Creativation, their new ephemera and die cut packs, and the elements are just huge. So if they're big, I think I just might not even buy them because I don't know. I just, it's so hard to use these gigantic things. They're great for cards, probably. If you do cards, it's like a really nice big thing and you don't have to do much else to the cards, but we will see. So what I was struggling with this layout was I had the cluster on the bottom right, the cluster on the top left, and I felt like I wanted to do the triangle. But if I added something to the bottom left corner, it looked kind of weird. And if I added it to the top right corner, it looked a little weird. So what I tried doing is part of this sticker sheet, and I mentioned that Doodlebug's been using this same style sticker sheet for so long. It's getting kind of boring. I don't like using up all those. I know a lot of companies at least switch out their sticker sheets every couple of years or every year or so, but this one's just been the same thing, and there's so many of those stickers that I find difficult to use. The quote marks, the brackets, those were popular so long ago, and I just don't care for them. But the other thing I always find hard to use are those little arrow pieces. So you can see I added the little owl. I finally decided to try to build a cluster down on the left hand side of the photo, but it threw me off. Again, I had to step away from the layout for a while and come back, and what I tried was I thought maybe adding those arrows to the left hand side of the layout would kind of pull the cluster farther to the left and even off of the page. I'm going to trim down. You can see that one arrow is kind of off of the page. So I did that, and I'm like, okay, that's not looking too bad. I haven't completely pushed those down yet, but then I had the idea to maybe try that with my large cluster. So if you can see, I took one of the die cut phrases and I put it over there, and I put it so it kind of continued off the side. Not completely of the layout, but I kind of am looking at the layout like it's just that one white piece of pattern paper, and the rest is just like a frame. So most of the stuff is in kind of that white area, but the rest, the more I pull stuff off of that white area, the more it makes these clusters look like they really go together and really flow, and it's not just these three tiny little areas that are totally off skew. I hope that makes some sense. I will talk about this layout a little bit more in the future. So I decided to go ahead, and when I added that purple phrase to the right hand underneath the winter, it really just, I don't know, added something. And I don't know why the lighting changed. I have the same lighting. That's kind of weird. But see, look at these little mittens that are ephemera pieces. Now, if those were the only things you were using, that'd be fine, but I didn't have any stickers. I'm looking here for the sticker mittens because I thought they'd be really cute. But, oh, and really quick before I say anything else about the mittens, look at these little skis. Now, this photo has nothing to do with skiing, and it has nothing to do, we don't go skiing. We're not, we're just not skiers. We live right next to Mount Hood, so there's plenty of opportunity to ski, but we just don't. I don't know. It's just never been something that we do. But I went ahead and I added those skis there, and they kind of mix in a little bit with the pattern paper that's behind it, but they stand out just a hair, just enough to add a little something there. So it works. And don't be afraid to use an ephemera piece just because it doesn't go with your photo or your page. Don't be afraid to at least try it out, because the color might help if that makes any sense as well. So but look at those mittens. They're just huge. I couldn't make them work because they're so huge. I don't know why companies, and it's not just Doodlebug, it's a lot of companies have started adding in these huge die cut pieces in their ephemera packs. And maybe they think that we're, excited because we're getting more. And maybe some people love the larger size. I personally, I don't know. I can't use them as much, and I'm not going to continue to buy stuff that I can't use. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can get some of those at least used up. I have used some, as you've seen, and I am going to use some more in some videos coming up, but I'm just not liking them. So what I have here, these are my kind of sticker books, die cut books. I have them all put together by color. They're just on the wax paper. It's what everybody's basically doing. So I wanted some more word stickers. That's another thing I wish Doodlebug would do, is add in some more word stickers. They have a few that comes on that main sticker piece, but I've already used up most of what would really, there's like things like powder and having a ball, which, be great for like a snowball fight and stuff like that. But all the words that are left over are not really ones that are working with my layouts. And again, I'm not really afraid to use any that aren't completely matchy-matchy, but I do kind of want the word phrases to at least kind of coincide. So I just went ahead and looked at my word stickers that I already have, and luckily there was these. I believe these are Bella Boulevard from a long time ago, and so I just pulled out a couple different ones that had the blue and the white and the blue, and there was one that said January, so that was awesome. Or maybe it says February, I can't tell from here. But that was perfect. I liked that. And then there was a couple other ones. I don't know what they say, but I am going to check the purple ones here because I had some blue ones. But the rest of the blue ones didn't really go too much. I wasn't sure. I do think I go back and add another one. But and if you want to know more about this book and how I do my book, please let me know. I'm happy to do it. I forgot that you guys actually wanted to see how I do my Disney one that's like this, and so I will show that as well. But, let me know if you want me to talk more about how these stickers and ephemera pieces are stored. So now, again, I'm just trying to see if there are any word stickers left. This one said bundle up, so I decided that one actually does go. I did use that border sticker under the photo. That is following the sketch because they had a border underneath their photo. But I found myself, one of the things, I really like Doodlebug's borders, but if I'm not using, for the entire sticker sheet, if I only use a fourth of the sticker sheet and not even all the borders, the borders can go on any layout, which is good because they're usually more plain colors, but I don't know. We'll just touch base, and I'm going to see as more products come out if they're stuff I'm not going to use. I'm really trying to be better about what I buy, and I've mentioned that in quite a few videos. So just something to think about. If you don't like huge die cut ephemera pieces, I'd say just go for the sticker sheet and call it good. So even 2 sticker sheets would probably be cheaper than the 2 packs of ephemera pieces. You wouldn't get as much, but on that sticker sheet is all these really teeny tiny pieces of snowflakes, and I love those. So here I am for the sake of the video, so you guys can see I'm going to do just a little bit of journaling. I've started adding these little white journaling strips because I want to type all my journaling together, but I want you guys to see what it would look like with the journaling on there, so that is why I added that. So I hope you guys like this layout, and I really like how the clusters came together. I love all the sparkliness. You can see all the sparkle in that picture. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. All right, bye.